So the Cho will still be open, but they might actually really greatly consider a first pick link. I mean, but that was one of the suggestions we posted. Except it was Mongolia now pulling the trigger on the Suyo Alpha trading of bans. So Mongolia takes away the Eve. I feel like a Hylos or a Gatot Kacha, one of those two in the first two picks for Mongolia, while Cambodia still has a Hilda available for them, and they played really well with it.
Yeah, I'd go for Hilda. I think it's a
Hilda.
really good deny, and it also takes away the
Deny,
option
yes,
for
you're right.
Mongolia
Yeah,
to
excuse me.
take
Yeah,
it.
I was thinking it's a good deny for Cambodia if they picked up the Hilda. Yes.
But deny, just in case as well, if Mongolia want to pick up an assassin here, that's
Mhm.
already like one winning condition that they're holding on for themselves. With the fact that the Hilda can be such a great invade tool, but the Phoveus is the one that gets locked in for Cambodia first.
Hilda high loss for Mongolia. I would not mind that. There's no Jushin right across. They don't need to lock in their jungler just yet unless they feel like it's incredibly important that they lock it in now. In terms of the trades, we're left with the Nolan, Julian. No one rushes Ling this early anymore. So yeah, around those two. So there's a high loss. Come on, just go Hylos Hilda. H and H. Should be very good for them.
Yeah, I think it would be too early to lock in something like a gold laner as well. Maybe into the third pick.
Yeah.
So they go for the Gatot.
Okay.
No Hilda, Gatot and Hylos is their answer.
So they go for the bruisers instead, which will make Cambodia think about locking in something like a carry, third pick, not that frequent anymore. Or yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking for Mongolia. Maybe they could have paired that high loss with an Aurora, but now the Aurora will be on the side of Cambodia. Should help the forward momentum of should help defend against the forward momentum of the Gatot Kacha and the high loss. They can go ahead and lock their gold laner now. As we mentioned, the aforementioned carry, if they want to play
I
the
don't
map,
like carry.
play Moscow. I don't like carry that much either anymore. Just go for burst if you want to. Now lock in the Harith, but then you're going to be fighting around two beefy boys that you got to be ready to deal with. So they go for the marksman that deals some of the highest single target damage chunks in the Bruno. This might be quite early.
I guess Bruno is a strong laner. He has pressure in the matchup in the gold lane in the early portion of the game. He's also really good at dealing damage to the turrets. But
Yeah.
my concern is there are still other picks on the board for that gold lane, and Mongolia is going to be picking up the Ixia. What do you think about the Ixia into the Bruno?
I'm really happy about it. They could match up each other a little bit of the trading, although there might be a time where the Bruno might just eke out over the Ixia, and the Ixia it'll be more of like a 70-30. With the Bruno a little bit healthier, the Ixia will have to back off under tower. However, one thing that I want Mongolia to consider is take out another assassin that can access the back line. Because if they play their cards right, they can actually play into a Farsa paired up with that Ixia. You already have a strong front. You can, if you feel like it, maybe even consider picking up a tanky fighter type of jungler. So you just play around that formation. 3 heavy bruising tanks. And then you have an Ixia and a Farsa in your back line. However, we do have to acknowledge that the Julian and the Nolan both are still open. And those are 2 heroes that the Farsa would rather not go up against.
And much to my demise, the Fanny gets banned.
Yeah.
Renmar.
But hey, our feelings were right. It was up in the air. It's just unfortunate that Mongolia read into it.
Tagami can play Fanny. We're still assuming here, but I mean, if Cambodia makes it to the playoffs, I'd love to see it. Oh, Theramis ban. I feel like Cambodia's still going to be picking up something like an assassin here.
Yeah, assassin still sounds good. It's just going to be up to them which one they'd rather go up
Nolan.
against. Yeah, I prefer Nolan too. I'm okay already with the magic damage profile of the high loss and the Gatot Kacha. Not the best, of course, it's not chunks. But at this point, if you have your Nolan as your main source of burst damage and it's not a traditional mid lane mage just yet, then I'm okay with it. Oh my goodness! Angela! So they denied the potential Angela-Bruno combo. And now, what are they cooking up here?
I think Julian maybe? Don't they need a little bit more magic damage? Angela mid, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Either Gatot Roam or Gatot EXP and then the Hylos in either side. So maybe Julian?
Yeah, it could be Angela Julian or Angeling for Mongolia if they want to spread out the map a little bit more, considering that is a very team fight heavy first 3 picks by Mongolia. So Cambodia will want to consider maybe taking away the Fanny, but I wouldn't suggest it. Just go pack a Julian in there, in the jungle at least, or someone who can really have strong backline access. They steal the Ling. Okay, might be tough. Again, as you mentioned, the Julian's there. I wonder if they're considering Alice, but it's a little bit slow with the jungle rotation.
Because that's the only option, right? Julian, Alice. What else does magic damage? It won't be something crazy like a Gushin, right? A Gushin jungle.
Hey, they go Gushin. I'm not gonna say no. I always enjoy a good Gushin game.
But what do you think about this Ling pick, right? Because he's picking up the Ling into the Gatot and the Hylos. These are two very aggressive heroes in the early game.
Exactly. But to be fair, this is a Tegami signature pick for her. At the same time, they blocked it. So now Mongolia is just really trying to decide what to pair up with this Angela. What they want with it. Ooh. Oh, that's aggressive. Oh my. That is them cooking up a lineup to potentially deal with a high-impact assassin in Tegami. Color be a little bit biased towards Mongolia, but something about their lineup just looks special. But is it going to be enough? The star power on Tegami on this Ling is stellar. And if they're going to win, it's going to be on the back of her and her row mid in Yui and Nabi setting the tempo instead of Mongolia being able to do that.
But what about Martis? We haven't seen this Martis in quite some time. Has he fallen out of the meta? I mean, he's got to be quite a stranger for a reason.
He's well supplemented. He has a strong front line that will help him. He has the Angela with him. Like one of the ideas before, like as to why we don't see Leomord again, kill type, although less control. It's more of the aggressive form of Martis. They have the support. They have the right support. I feel like it might actually be a bit better this time for the Martis.
All right, our upcoming match, our first one for Group B, ladies and gentlemen, Cambodia and Mongolia. Who's gonna win it? Because we're gonna throw it over to the casters. Nice, so Mirko, take it away.
Thank you so much, Renmar and Eterna. I agree, man. I personally really like the Martis pick. It was really surprising. Almost as surprising as seeing Ethan coach it, right?
I was gonna say, I think we were both surprised. Like,
yeah.
he looks different. He's all dressed up. He's looking good, man.
Yeah, shout out to Ethan there, coach for Team Mongolia here as well. Man, I really like the Martis. Again, they have so many ways to actually utilize the early game pressure to get the Martis online. Again, they have a Gatot Kacha very, very early on. It's going to be crazy pressure. Hylos as well, in case your mobility was a bit lacking. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to get straight into the game here. Land of Dawn for the 4th match of the day. Cambodia, though. This is Tegami, an MPL champion.
Tegami.
He's going to be on a Ling. So definitely a lot of hyper carry potential here for Cambodia. If they are able to set up for Tegami, it's going to be massive.
And I'm wondering, you know, with this, the Ling for one, you have this, because, yeah, I think it's a good point that the panel mentioned. You know, you don't see Martis too often anymore. And you almost expect it. I know they mentioned possibly the Ling coming up when they had that Angela, but it was a good kind of takeaway that Cambodia did. They actually get themselves the Ling, and hopefully they can actually rotate the way they want to, that early aggression. My only thing is, how does this Martis fit in the current meta, the current state of things, and how fast things can go? I mean, obviously it's great that he's able to go ahead and Mortal Coil, and he can actually be somewhat of an assassin himself, I guess, with the Decimate, right? So I think either way, you're looking to see what team builds up that snowball first, and I love to see the Ixia again here, Mirko. I know we saw this just, was it a couple days ago? Was it yesterday?
Yep.
And it played so well. It was actually such a big damage provider. Wow, already early flicker in to set up the fight. Gonna crash down, sets the blades to follow on through, but they get damage checked and forced off of the fight.
Great cancel there from the Naxxon, just waiting on the Mortal Coil, the second part of the Mortal Coil there to get that knock up. Only using the first part to escape from the Tempest of Blades. Really well played from Mongolia, really utilizing the sustain that is built into their kit. Remember, not only do they have an Angela, they have the Hylos and the Gatot Kacha. We were talking about the engage potential, you know, the tankiness potential and the front lining.
Yep.
But double revitalize on top of an Angela is going to be very scary to deal with. Deja Vu up top too. Really doesn't care about that. The healing's right there. It's just a battle of clear at this point until they go for the neutral objective. Deja Vu, Nika, no level 4 just yet. But they're going to start it off, man. Tegami's going to be quite late to this. She needs purple buff before she can contest.
Yeah, gonna be very late. They might just have to give this one up, but they're gonna stall it out a little bit longer. Nika could be in trouble. She's gonna have to back off. Hard guard already gonna be used. They get the lockdown with the Frigid Glacier though, and they're joining the fight. Tagami shows up. Tempest Blades again, collecting the swords to get the double. They get the flicker out from Ethan. There's a good full barrage coming through. And Mob Psycho will be able to pick up a kill at least from Moshi.
At least the kill back here, but it's still definitely very, very value for Cambodia. Tagami getting the 2 kills here on her hands is massive. And again, if we're taking a look at Mongolia's control, it looked like they had the control over already, but the fact that Deja Vu, instead of getting level 4, she went straight for the turtle, but they didn't rush it. There was a lot of miscommunications, I feel, from Mongolia. Cambodia just felt like they were way more decisive in that skirmish, and Moshi again zoning them away. Deja Vu, level 4.
As level 4, waiting for that glorious pathway, gonna be trying to set it down. Tagami gets the turtle, again, a Frigid Glacier. Avatar the Guardian also to land in down further. Moshi going in with the Infernal Pursuit. Tagami looking to clean up the kill. We'll have to deal with the Mortal Coil. Still looking for it, and the Decimate will take out Tagami. Deja Vu still with her life. Even with the Hard Guard able to escape. Again, this is 2 revitalizes, plus an Angela really helping them.
All right, so that actually becomes a pretty okay trade from Mongolia. The fact that Cambodia got the turtle, all right, not the best from Mongolia there, but they got the kill onto Tagami. So the main hyper carry has been taken down. Despite getting the first 2 kills, that'll definitely slow down a bit of the tempo. And the fact that Tagami got the purple buff before the turtle, I really feel like after getting the turtle, after using the resources there, they should have just backed away. Knowing the purple buff is still such a big resource to have on the Ling. If you don't have it, especially considering Mongolia, again, have these many frontliners, they can start to look for invades. And whoa, Uwe, already very aggressively trying to go for the invade there. Stopping a Martis might not be the best idea.
Yui's been doing this constantly, especially when her flicker's available. You know, we've seen this. That's how they started the early on fight at the beginning of the game. It was by her decision to jump on in, and I think you make a good point here. You know, Tagami's got to be a little bit careful on how she approaches some of the fights. Yui again. She does have the Primal Wrath. Won't be able to actually escape this. A 3-man Frigid Glacier, and Ethan flickers on out. Moshi wants to kill this time. Picks up on Ethan, and now the glorious pathway drop down. Looking to run them down a little bit further. Moshi, though, still relying on that Infernal Pursuit, tanking up herself. Still up, gets a little bit of shield too, and now Nika in trouble as Yui Fendi joins the fight. There's the full barrage once again. Knockup comes through, defensive flicker backward. Even with the Heart Guard though, still trying to pop off the damage, and it's not gonna be enough. As finally Mob Psycho goes down and Yui Fendi, one more hit. She slides out, and Ethan will have enough to heal herself up to stay alive.
Giving the Flask of the Oasis as well here, but Cambodia's building up a massive snowball here. At this point of the game, you can see the Haas Claws already done. Just waiting for the Berserker's Fury for the item Power Spike now for Yui Fendi. And looking at how Mongolia have just been playing around in this skirmish, I don't know, Mob Psycho hasn't really been able to get the proper angles on this Ixia. It's been very forced. Using a full barrage in front of a Ling earlier. Cambodia, they're just gonna take this turtle for free. Everything has been going their way. Aside from, you know, a few of those team fights, Tagami hasn't been pressured. Purple buff still. Yeah. We were talking about the purple buff delay after dying, taking a turtle and then dying over. Didn't really matter. Purple buff spawned in the game, and Mongolia did not have any intentions of stopping her from taking the purple buff. And now, the Martis, we gotta talk about this issue. Even though we were talking about the Martis, talking about how the Martis could definitely work in this composition, I think we can all agree that it was us being very optimistic about the early game.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the mid game right now, Martis is one of those heroes that just falls off so hard, and Mob Psycho will be dove on.
Again, Hard Guard gonna be used. Mob Psycho will drop the full barrage. And Yui not tanky enough to deal with that kind of burst. I was wondering, you know, even if that Martis does fall off a little bit, maybe this is enough. Maybe this is enough to keep a threat here. As you can see, they want to focus on this top tier 1 turret. They're going to just force themselves for this fight. Looking for the Decimate. They're going to go in under the tier 2 even, and Yui Fendi taken out. But they will get frozen into that. All part of the plan as they get the tier 1 and the top down.
All right, so they have a major fall off in the jungle, but they have a crazy late game pick. So for Mob Psycho, Prio is definitely on her now, right? The shift in momentum for Mongolia will happen if they can rely on Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho can get these big full barrages in the back, and if the frontliners stay intact because this is a very clean front to back that they need to play in every single skirmish. They have to be very careful that Tagami doesn't ruin their formation with the Ling.
Yep.
And most importantly, Moshi on this Phobius. This is why Phobius has been such a prio pick in a lot of the different tournaments we've seen, you know, super meta. It's because up against a front to back composition like this, you are so good at just dispersing them and destroying that formation. You gotta find a way to maybe, I would say,
things up.
Yeah, peel hard for Mob Psycho. Go for the heal, go for the peel. For Deja Vu, I think it's all about splitting the enemy team up, because for Cambodia, if they group up, it can still be a big problem for that front to back.
Yeah, the one thing I'm wondering too is, you know, like you were saying with the Martis, it does fall off to a sense where then you're kind of just looking to bait things out with Immortal Coil even. It looks like they want to fight for this last turtle of the game. They don't want the third one to go in the hands of Cambodia again. Moshi will play that front side. They'll try to start things up. Meanwhile, Tagami, she's going to make her way here towards that conceal again. Yui won't be able to land that Earth Shatter. There's the onward, though. Able to toss up Nika. Nika trying to survive full barrage. Right to the choke point again. Will be the pop off as Deja Vu falls down. Yui goes down in exchange as well, but they're just collapsed on. Even trying to run away, it's just too much with the Martis and the Angela combo. Tagami jumping away with the Finch Poise will survive, but 4 members down of Cambodia.
And now you can see the beauty of the clean front to back for Mongolia. If they get it done, Mob Psycho, all she needs to do is deal the damage. She doesn't really need to be the executor because they still have Nanoxen. Doesn't matter if you are in the late game, you fall off in terms of damage, the ultimate will always be an execute, and you will always be able to chase, especially with the help of the hard guard on you. That's what we saw in Nanoxen, just getting so much space as Mob Psycho was really the prime target for everybody in Cambodia. But as long as Mob Psycho has the flicker, it's just going to be very difficult for them to actually dive in. Tagami, you can see the adaptations now made by her, trying to go for at least trades on the map here. Nika actually getting the taunt over.
Yui Fendi again, look at the full barrage. You already went for the slide, you can't escape now. They might still look for more, but they got the tier 1 down. Still have the Lord as well, top side pushing in. I think that's one of the main things that we have to just look at here. Can Cambodia combat against the fact that every single time a full barrage comes down from Mob Psycho, they're not able to play against it. Even with this Flora's Pathway being dropped down, AOG once again gonna find 2, Unbreakable to get the taunt of Tagami. Mob Psycho once again just firing off of the back. They will take the Frigid Glacier, but meanwhile the whole focus is the tier 1 in the mid.
Good disengaged from Cambodia. They cannot afford to actually look for a fight against Mongolia, despite the fact that, again, that was a messy team fight and could have actually benefited them. But there's still a big Lord marching down. If they only got the frontliners, they should be able to still siege down these turrets. And again, tier 2 up top, stopped from being taken here. Good move by Tagami. Cleaning up the map, and Mob Psycho. That is a big item power spike. A DHS picked up. Tagami, how low is the Lord? Oh, actually able to solo clear it. Gets out as well. Great wave manipulation from Cambodia.
Yeah, I like that wave manipulation. You know, we missed the real world manipulation right now, but Tagami will keep it together. She is going to have to escape, so she does get out. But ultimately what she did, you know, she kept the wave from pushing in. They hold on to that tier 2. But even with that, you know, Mongolia really fighting back. Okay, they get the turret anyway. So looking at this, everything that was done, all the pace that was set by Cambodia from that early to mid game, we're looking at a pretty much even ball game right now here.
Oh, wow.
Look at the difference between the gold and then also at the same time itemization. It's nearly equal here.
It really is. I mean, 600 gold doesn't really make that much of a difference, right, when it comes to gold. But what I'm surprised is the itemization here, Nice. Nanoxen has a Sky Piercer and a Hunter Strike.
He's trying to abuse the Sky Piercer, man.
I thought after that early game, they wouldn't go for the Sky Piercer. It might be too big of a gamble.
Maybe a little tanky, right?
Maybe just pure tank at that point, right?
Yeah.
Usually we see Fury Hammer to pure tank in a lot of the other games that we see. Malefic Gun, though, going to be picked up by Yui Fendi here. The choice to go for now over to Malefic Roar. If you're a marksman, you can get that additional range on top of the penetration. And finally, we're seeing Mongolia putting down pressure onto the purple buff.
Deja Vu playing that front side. They might just try to put pressure. Nothing happens. She does get her purple buff, so that's going to be good for her. But what they really have to focus on, obviously, is this Lord coming up in 10. If they're in a fighting position to go ahead and contest it, and that they are, is what I believe. This will also be part of it. You know, Nabi, she's been pretty good with the Frigid Glaciers, able to land, you know, on multiple members, but they just haven't been able to turn that into complete their favor. But hold on, Look at this in the mid lane. Temps of Blades on the hunt. Will be able to find the Angela now. Tagami on the run after getting herself the kill. That's the perfect timing for this possible Lord take next.
If they don't take it quick, though, it's going to be very... It's literally not going to have any impact at all, right? They got to start the Lord now, and they actually go for the onward.
Yep, Nika could be in trouble. Full barrage again. Going to be able to find a couple members. Yui jumps in to try to force her off, and now forcing the fight. Noxon goes down, and now this is a great time for Cambodia to start up the Lord and secure it for themselves to hopefully start marching towards the base of Mongolia.
There you go. Right after getting the kill onto the Angela, you are in a position where you need to just look for a fight. Either you commit onto the neutral objective or force out Mongolia out so that, you know, again, that death will have an impact. That's what they do. They went straight for the Lord, they saw an opening, and they went straight for Nika, who was definitely overextending there. Gets caught by the onward, and it's all on Tagami now. Tagami's been finding these picks, saving the team from these sieges as well by clearing out the Lord. This is going to be enhanced Lord marching down. Mongolia definitely still have pretty good clear with the Ixia, but the Lord's going to be charging down. Another half HP just chunked out for the base turret.
Tourist pathway used as well. Trying to hold on to this base turret the best they can. They will for now. Still going to manage the couple waves pushing in, and you know, like you mentioned, part of this is they have great wave clear. We'll have to see if Cambodia actually wants to decide to force a fight into the base. That mid turret finally going down. Now the base possibly can't last through this push. Still Nika at the front. There's the setup once again. They can't escape this. The full barrage comes down. Temps of Blades can be used as well, but she has the heart guard. Able to keep her alive even with that damage coming out from Tagami. So far, so good. Mongolia stops the bleeding. They only lose the mid-base turret.
They baited everything out though. No hard guard, no revitalize. They can actually just go and brute force it now. Ethan Airy and Mob Psycho.
Cambodia's gonna go for it. Not sure if they can end the game here. Nika trying to hold down the front again. 2 frees happening down, and the base is just gonna be work on. Moshi keeps them at the fountain, and Cambodia will focus on just winning the game as they go ahead and take the game against Mongolia. Really close for the majority of it, but at the end there, great decision making with the lineup that they had for Cambodia to cap out the win.
Just amazing composure really from Cambodia. The fact that they were able to just hold on, and I would say great reads across the map. Early game, this should have been an early game composition for Team Mongolia. They weren't able to get it. It was Cambodia who got the early game. The mid game should have been Cambodia, but it was Mongolia who got it. And the late game really should have been the Ixia, but again, Cambodia got it. It was all due to the execution. Early game, they played it so well. No purple buff on Tagami. They just baited out Mongolia little by little, baiting out these resources, getting those revitalizers. And once that happened, Tagami was free to just go in and assassinate these members, and the same goes for the late stage. Side lane control, getting that Lord, stomping the full siege from Mongolia, and then picking off the Angela in the mid lane, out of nowhere, by the way. Just seeing that vision on the map was splendid. Honestly, very good stuff from Tagami.
You made a good point, because if it was just the Angela and they were able to delay it, she would have just came back up, hard guarded into the fight.
Exactly, yeah, global ult.
But because of, again, that decisive decision to just, you know what, we can get another kill, go for it, and they made it happen, that's what gave them that advantage. And, you know, I was really looking forward to just, even that full barrage at the end, keeping them in the game, because time and time again throughout the game, the full barrages were on point, you know, but just at a certain point in the game, especially with that siege that was happening, it was so difficult to actually post up, because also Tagami's game on that, utilizing that Temps of Blades to put pressure enough where you have to back off, and the hard guard came through, but by then it was just almost too much. So, you know, again, this is the, I guess the upside, but also a weak side to having an Ixia is you have great damage. Even a lot of times when you're in the choke points of the jungle, it gives you that upper hand. But unfortunately, there are times where teams are able to just overload that positioning, and that's why we call her a glass cannon. You know, she does a ton of damage, but you also got to post up to be able to do it, and then eventually you have to go on the defensive.
And another thing is the fact that when we take a look at Mongolia's composition, it's all about the burst. It's all about the first, like, the initial damage, right? Once you get out your damage, once you use those resources, you're kind of done in the team fight. Meanwhile, for the side of Cambodia, they have so many ways to go in, get out. It's all about the kite back and the baits. And we do have an interview on stage with Tagami, so we're going to throw it over to Jasmine.
Thank you very much for that, boys. Tagami, another fantastic performance from you and the team. The experience so far doesn't really seem to be rattling you girls too much. So talk to me about how you felt during that game against Cambodia.
មានអារម្មណ៍ថាសប្បាយចិត្តហើយរំភើប
She says she's very excited about the games so far.
And obviously, the match prior to you folks, we saw Indonesia absolutely stomping through the group stage. So yourself playing your group stage games now, you feeling a little bit more motivated? Are you feeling confident that you might be able to live up to the same caliber of a team like Indonesia?
Yes
Do you know, like, could you explain a little bit more about why you feel like, you know, your team is capable of taking on a squad like Indonesia?
ហេតុផលដែលខ្ញុំគិតថាអាចឡើងទៅខ្ពស់ដូចឥណ្ឌូនោះគឺការខិតខំដែលពួកយើងខិតខំកន្លងមកជាមួយគ្នាមានភាពលំបាកជាច្រើនដែលយើងឈ្មោះវាទៅបានអញ្ចឹងវាអាចទៅរួច
She said they are looking forward to it because of all the hardships that she and her team faced beforehand.
Can I push a little bit more and ask about those hardships? Is it like on server-wise, outside of the server? ភាពលំបាកដែលយើងឈ្មោះទៅជាមួយគ្នាកន្លងមកហ្នឹងដូចមានដូចយើងពេលខ្លះយើងត្រូវលះបង់ការងារដែលវាសំខាន់ដើម្បីក្តីសម័យរបស់យើង
She said that sometimes we have to sacrifice something for the dreams of becoming like world-class athletes.
Well, you know what? I think that's a perfect note on which to end off our interview. Congratulations on the win again. I'm excited for the rest of your journey. Let's find out what the desk has to say.